huupaalthus upwinisat oish hu aksumah. I want to say thank you, our Hawith and Nas, the Creator, for allowing us to do this important business. And thank you for being here to learn and listen to my papa's story, which is one of many stories of my tribe, which is one story of many in my tribe that are survivors of the residential school systems, and all of the 500 and over 500 First Nations across the country. This to me is an example of starting to bridge the gap between First Nations people and Canadians to tell the truth, be open and learn, educate and listen to the stories of what happened to the First Nations people that have resided in this country from time immemorial, of which this country was formed on, not only to hear the truths, but to put solutions and actions to be a part of the change of systematic racism and oppression that our people today still suffer the effects. It is time to work on healing. It is my hope that steps moving forward on reconciliation, that we should work together with the government, and find ways to work collectively and provide more support in trauma, health, and education and language recovery. Education into classrooms, ask questions, and take the time to learn and speak, support one another as we are all human, so we can remove that stereotype of what Indian people are. And we all have a story to tell. I myself have taken the opportunity to use my voice to share about who I am. I wrote a report in 6th grade about the 21 things you should know about the IndianAct by Bob Joseph. I see this as an opportunity to use educational setting to stand up and share about what happened to Indigenous people since Canada became Canada. So such things as like 130-year practice of ripping Aboriginal children away from their families with the order to assimilate us, to strip the Indian out of us and force religion upon us, taking us off our traditional lands and forcing us onto reserves, and with no authority over those lands anymore, forcing European names onto us. We weren't allowed to leave these reserves without permission from the Indian agents, controlling who and what and how we were native, what they defined us as native status or Indian status. Banned us from potlatches or practice any ceremonies. It was illegal, or even speaking our own native language was forbidden. We weren't even allowed to vote in this country until 1960. We had to give up our Indian status rights if we wanted to go to university or get any other education. Women weren't allowed status anymore if they married a non-native. Those were to name a few of what Canada brought onto our people through laws. I also wanted to share a little bit of the Secret Path video documentary that Gord Downey from tragically hit before he passed away. He's seen a chance to use his celebrity status to raise awareness on the residential schools in Canada by sharing just one story of a 12-year-old young boy named Cheney Winja, who was Ojibwe from the Anishinaabe of Northern Ontario, who escaped from the Cecilia Jeffrey Indian Residential School and died trying to return to his home. This album was a collection of poems about Cheney Winja's story. It was a very powerful way through sharing one story he told through animation and songwriting. I played the piano and thought this was a great way to share one story and bringing awareness in a time where it was still not many people talked about it. The most powerful song to me was the Seven Matches song. The Seven Matches song was Cheney's way for him to hold on to hope and guarding the matchsticks, as this was the journey from his escape from the horrible school and the desire to be with his family. He knew if he followed the railroad track, they would eventually lead him to home, and he only had 7 matchsticks, and it was very freezing cold Ontario winter. He used them as little as possible, trying to make them last. But after the last matchstick, he walked and walked a long time with no help and no one to help him, and he was alone. He later died along his journey on those railroad tracks. We also learn about the residential schools in schools on days like this. Even though I'm a second generation, it still hurts. Just to hear about the pain it's caused people, and people in my family like my papa here, and many other people, if I try. It's always hard to learn about things like this, but it's important to share and know about this type of stuff. So have openness, compassion, kindness in your heart as we all move forward to reconciliation, as we are all one. Hishik Masawa. Lastly, I want to thank my papa for sharing with us today, as it takes a lot of courage. This is a very painful experience in his life. And I want to thank my grandparents for supporting me, and my parents for always encouraging me to have a voice in a positive way for change.
Oh boy. Yeah, you know, just listening to that, you know, you can hear and you can see the effects of